The Five Nights at Freddy's series is full of terrifying animatronics, haunted lore, and recolors. Like a lot of recolors. From slightly tweaked models to characters that are literally just palette-swapped clones of existing ones. This franchise has a serious habit of reusing designs. Sometimes it's clever, sometimes it's lazy, and sometimes it's just weird. Like, really weird. So today I'm going through every single recolor, recycled, or barely altered animatronic across the main FNAF games. Some of these are iconic, others you've probably forgotten that they've even existed. Or maybe you've never even noticed them in the first place. And hey, if you're already in the comments typing, well actually Shadow Freddy isn't technically a recolor, he's a manifestation of agony, relax, we're here to just have fun. Now with all that out of the way, I hope you enjoy. Back in FNAF 1, things were simple. You had 4 main animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, one really weird ghost bear, and a phone guy that was way too chill about the whole situation. Back then, there was only one real recolor, and that is Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is just Freddy Fazbear, but with a different rendered pose, and instead of being brown, he's yellow. Scott decided to saturate Freddy, put him in this new pose, and darken his eyes a tiny bit. That's really all that goes into Golden Freddy, at least from what I can tell. It's kinda wild to think that one of the most impactful characters on the franchise is literally just Freddy, but with slightly different lighting. FNAF 2 is where a lot of the recolors start ramping up. Golden Freddy is back, but instead of using the classic Freddy model, Scott decided to use the withered Freddy model, as they are almost exactly the same. Now I will point out that with Golden Freddy, he does have more exposed wires, and his left ear is missing for some reason. Then there's Shadow Freddy, who's just Golden Freddy but with a purple hue this time. From what I can tell, they're the exact same model, just different hues. Next we have Shadow Bonnie, or if you want to be fancy about it, RWQFSFASXC, which I'm not going to say for the rest of this video, I'm just going to call them Shadow Bonnie. I mean, I honestly struggled trying to say that the first time. Shadow Bonnie is basically a dark, shadowy version of Toy Bonnie, all black, slightly see-through, glowing white eyes, and a couple extra teeth. I'm just gonna imagine that Scott just made a silhouette of the Toy Bonnie render and called it a day. Now, we can't forget about JJ. JJ is just Balloon Boy, but with the colors slightly swapped around. That's it. There's no new animatronic, no new behavior, she just hides under your desk. Alright, so FNAF 3 is where the recolors kinda get weird. The Phantom animatronics seem to be charred, broken versions of older characters with a more green filter on top and a smoke effect added on top of them. Phantom Freddy seems to be based off the Withered Freddy or Golden Freddy model, same missing ear and kinda the same pose, but now he's a little extra crispy. Phantom Chica is a little bit different. She's using the FNAF 1 model instead of the FNAF 2 Withered Chica model. There's not really a bunch to really say here, besides she also kind of looks like a watermelon. Phantom Foxy is just a reused FNAF 2 Withered Foxy model. I will say that they are missing some limbs, like Phantom Foxy is missing his hook arm, and Phantom Freddy is missing one of his legs. Phantom Mangle and Phantom Puppet are more of the same. Their models don't really change that much, it's just the same FNAF 3 aesthetic applied to them also. I will point out that you can see the original puppet as a hallucination on Cam 8, the exact same model from FNAF 2, so I guess you could say Phantom Puppet classifies as a different character, but it's still the same model from FNAF 2. Shadow Freddy also makes an appearance back in this game. He's really just sitting on the corner of your screen. It looks the exact same model, but with more of the green filter from FNAF 3. FNAF 4 brought us the Nightmare animatronics, which from what I can tell are just original models for the game. In the Halloween edition of this game, there's also Jacko Bonnie and Jacko Chica, which are just reskinned to fit the Halloween theme. There is Nightmare, which seems to be a blacked out, semi-transparent version of Nightmare Fredbear. There is also Nightmare Mangle, but I think that's technically its own model. It resembles a lot of the original Mangle, but it's a lot different too. First up in FNAF World, we have Lawbit, which is a recolor of Funtime Foxy. now in orange and purple. And then Tangle, which is just a recolor of Mangle. Red Bear takes the Phantom Freddy and slaps red on him. That's pretty much all Red Bear is. We also get Dee Dee in this game, which is another BB style character. I guess you could call them their own character because in Ultimate Custom Night they become more important, I guess. Sister Location brought in probably one of my favorite models in the games, but the recolors are still kind of there. Bonnet is literally just Bon Bon, but pink. She pops in during custom night and can ruin your run if you don't boop her nose fast enough, similar to how you have to press Bon Bon's button underneath his bow tie. Yendo seems to use the same model of endoskeleton as Funtime Freddy, so I guess you can say that he's a different character. I'm not for sure. He has different colored eyes, if that means anything. And then we've got Electrobab, which seems to just be an electric version of Bidybab. Now, a lot of people think that Dark Springtrap is a different character, but honestly, I'm pretty sure it's just Springtrap walking in the dark. You get to see this cutscene at the end of the 1020 mode. As cool as Dark Springtrap might be, I don't think we need another Springtrap variant. Surprisingly, Pizza Sim only has one recolor unless you want to count the Fruit Punch and Lemonade Clown. Lefty just takes the Rockstar Freddy model and pretty much just paints himself black, and that's Lefty. I mean, Lefty isn't really just a recolor. He is meant to contain the puppet, which is pretty cool, but it's still the same model, just recolored. In UCN, we see a lot of returning recolors like Shadow Freddy, Shadow Bonnie, Dee Dee, and we also get Shadow Dee Dee. Yeah, that technically means that there is a shadow version of a recolor of a recolor. At this point, the franchise is self-aware. It knows it's reusing models, and it just leans into it at this point. And honestly, you kind of have to whenever you're making a game like UCN. Help Wanted I don't think has a lot of recolors or repurposed models because a lot of them are original models for the game. I will point out that the hard mode animatronics and the parts and service minigames are just the FNAF 1 animatronics, but now with neon purple filters and glowing outlines. The other weird thing that I noticed is that Phantom Freddy and Phantom Foxy in this game use their FNAF 1 appearances instead of the original like FNAF 2 withered designs. For Security Breach, I don't think there's a lot here besides that the staff bots do get reskinned later as the Nightmarion faced staff bots. They are the exact same models, just tuned a little bit different. So yeah, over the years, FNAF has had a lot of recolors. Some of them are important to the story, but some of them are just fun little secrets. If I missed one or there's a favorite recolor that you think deserves more love, drop it in the comments. And if you like this breakdown, be sure to leave a like. Maybe subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one.